News Radio 700 WLW.
Rock, my dad, it was back in the day. He worked for 30 years for General Motors. So did my mom.
So did my grandpa, by the way. I mean, same situation.
30 and out.
Yep.
You got full retirement.
Yep.
I think my dad retired. I think he was 50. He was 56, 57 years old. Full retirement, plus his Social Security, plus anything, all the stuff obviously he had socked away. So, hey, man, now I'm 67, and I'm thinking, well, certainly this ain't working at a coal mine. There's no question about that.
Right.
But even if I wanted to retire, I'm not really sure I could.
Well, the world's expensive, right?
Right.
I mean, inflation is killing everybody. It literally affects, it's one issue that affects every single person in America, and it's sky high. And, yeah, so your dollar doesn't go as far as it did, and it's a bad thing. And folks are having to work really, which, like you said, look, it's one thing if you have to work later in life than you anticipated in this career. But, you know, what if you're someone who's works construction or pours concrete for that? That's you can't do. It's hard to do that in your mid 60s, late 60s kind of thing. It's tough.
Well, let's talk to someone who can tell us more about this. She is a financial expert. She is an enrolled agent, tax services expert, CEO at Decision Financial Services. It's Monika. Is it Hengesbach, Monika?
Yeah, that was perfect. Yes,
wow.
it is.
I used to go out with a German girl.
That explains it.
Anyways, so Monika, is this a recent development that people, think they can retire before they actually should or can, or is this recent, 10, 15 years?
I think it's been going on a lot longer. It's just becoming more and more prevalent as more and more people are retiring and more people are living longer. And so they're running out of money, and then you throw in, the past 15 years, we've had a tumultuous economy, and it's just starting to catch up with everybody.
Yeah.
Right. So is the big thing the inflation, though, and just how, houses cost so much more, groceries cost so much more, gas is still high. Is that the big thing in this?
That is probably the majority of it. The other part is that there are fewer jobs that are even offering traditional pensions.
Right. Okay.
So,
yeah.
That's
what I was asking for. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And so you add that plus the rising costs of just housing, necessity, insurance, groceries. There's not enough. People have poor spending habits because they got so used to lower interest rates. I think I just read somewhere that about 30% of 50-year or older carry a credit card debt of over $10,000, and that 12% carry a debt over $20,000.
Wow.
Is that a function of our society, Monika, or is, where we all think you just kick the can down the road, I'll get to that, I'll pay that off sooner or later, and the next thing you know, like, holy crap, I got 20 grand looking at me. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those things where if I run hard enough and long enough and don't look up, I won't know how far I've gone. You know what I'm saying? Is that kind of what people are doing?
I believe that is what people are doing. We've always lived where we robbed Peter to pay Paul. Either lower interest rates, I'm going to take the money out of the equity out of my home, or I'm going to leave this job to go to a job that's going to offer me a large sign-on bonus, or some other method that they feel that they can do to always get ahead. Or lately I've been hearing, this credit card's offering zero interest rate, so I'm going to transfer my credit card debt to this one that's zero interest. And of course I'll be able to pay it off in how many months they say. And then they realize they can't pay it off, and they've been still charging on the old credit card that they just transferred the balance to.
Well, that, and I don't know about you, Monika, but I believe just the age of Amazon is the big killer too. It's so easy to buy frivolous crap. Right. Where you used to have to say, man, do I need a pair of shoes? God, well, I have to have to get in the car, I have to go across town. They probably won't have it. I'll probably have to go 2 places. God, that's going to take like 4 hours out of my day. Hell with it. I'm good with the shoes I got. Now you open up your phone, and while you're making your coffee and watching TV, you can hit the button, and they'll be there probably the next morning.
Right, in 18 hours.
Yeah.
That's got to be a big part of this.
It is a big part of it, not to mention we have Christmas in July now. I mean, seriously, when did Christmas come in July? I don't know. But we have that added on to it. And then you have to think about the Gen Z, which has been making the news. They're moving back home with their aging parents, staying on those parents' checkbooks. So it's just
that's a good one I didn't think of, but yeah.
The old bank of mom and dad.
It's always open.
Yep, exactly.
So Mike, what's your advice then for folks that, maybe that we're describing right now that may be listening to this? What can they do to maybe get back on track so they don't have to work until they're damn 80 years old? Is there anything that can be done?
I recommend that people get back to creating a budget, truly figuring out where their money is going. Be honest with themselves. Don't cheat yourself on this. It isn't a diet. Write down exactly where you're spending your money and then determine where you can cut. That would be where I would start, number one. Number two is I would determine where I am in my house payments, how long is it before I can pay this off, and then figure out how much more I could potentially pay towards that payment to have my house paid off by the time that I would like to retire. Because that's going to be the biggest expense that retirees are going to have is that mortgage payment if they have it.
Right.
And then the other thing I would really do is sort of look where they have their money. What type of interest rates are they earning on their checking account or savings account? Can I put my money to better use somewhere else? I would seek advice. I'd seek advice from a financial planner. Make sure that the retirement that you are contributing, because what one forgot about is this is all taxable when you retire. When you start to pull out your retirement, depending on what you have, it's taxable. It can make 85% of your Social Security benefits taxable. Now you're in a vicious cycle at retirement, not getting any extra income, but paying Uncle Sam the money.
Monika Hengesbach is our guest. And Monika, what do your advice to these people who do have a kid who comes home and lives with them? Because we just had a situation with our youngest son where we were, and to his credit, that's the last thing he wanted to do was move back in with us. He wants to be self-sufficient. He wants to live on his own because he had a roommate, and that kid's got a relationship now and stuff. So he's moving on. So our kid's getting his own place and stuff, and we offered to let him stay with us. Like, look, till you get on your feet, get a little money in the bank. Why don't you just live with us for a month? But he was like, no, I don't want to do that. So, but obviously a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that under circumstances. But what do you advise people to suggest to their kid? And do you put a time limit on it and say, hey, I'll give you a month, 6
weeks. Charge them rent.
Or right. Yeah. You chip in $50 a month for groceries or whatever. Mm.
So I'm in that boat. My daughter graduated from college a year ago. She ended up moving back home. She got her first job, which is not paying a heck of a lot of money. And so we started out in baby steps. The first was you're responsible for your own groceries. You lived away from home for 4 years. You managed to buy your groceries, cook your own meals. You can continue to do that. Then it was now you're going to pay for your cell phone. Now you're going to pay for your car insurance. And we did little baby steps. Now she's paying towards rent, just little. I'm squirreling the money away for her. So I'm putting it away in a savings account because I'm hoping that she, too, we bought a book. So every paycheck, she takes $100, she goes to the bank, she takes $100 out, and she squirrels it away in this book. That's her savings. And that book she doesn't touch. It's cash. It just stays there. And we have that mechanism, and then I'm trying to save the little rent that she's paying. But it's teaching her how to be responsible, not to overspend, because these kids are all iPhone age. They have the Apple Card on their phone. They just tap it at the stores or wherever they go. and they have no idea where the money is going. So by having to pay and start to be responsible, they start to see that money's dwindling.
All right. With that, Monika, great stuff. Great advice. Really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
We will
Thanks,
talk
Monika.
again, I'm sure.
Sure. Thank you.